We need to always be learning. Hey everyone, Dylan Schumacher, Citadel Defense, and I'm making this video after I went on the joint One Shepherd FTX with S&S Training Solutions. And while I was down there, I had the privilege of having Brent 0331 as my squad leader. Now, I did not know Brent prior to going down. This is the first time I ever met him in person. He's reviewed my chest rigs and he has also reviewed my bandolier, which is very gracious of him. And so I, kind of knew him through the internet. We had an internet friendship, but I'd never actually met him in person. So we met in person, which was cool. And then I got to be on his team. I was one of his team leads as he was our squad leader there. And we went out and fought bad guys for 48 hours. Now, the major thing that I learned from Brent while getting to be on his team during this 48 hours of fighting bad guys was what I will call aggressive, patient patrolling. That I really think is one of the most effective tools we had during that engagement, right? During that FTX was aggressive, patient patrolling. First of all, our tempo was fairly aggressive, right? We were either on a rest cycle or we were out doing work. We were out patrolling. And I would say we were going on 2 to 3 patrols in a 24-hour cycle, okay? Maybe, yeah, probably about that. I think it'd be my guesstimate. So all in, we're looking at 5-6 patrols for the 48 hours. We took contact, I think, on every single patrol. Now, when I say we took contact, let's be clear about this. I don't mean that we just stumbled into bad guys. That did happen once. Brent wasn't with me, so no blame on him on that one. But the other times, we went out and found the bad guys. Now, like I said, aggressive, patient patrolling. So the tempo was aggressive itself, right? We're out there, we're actively looking we're searching for the enemy and trying to find them and kill all the bad guys, right? That's what we're doing. We are aggressively pursuing that goal. On the actual patrol itself, when we're walking with our feet and we're moving from A to B, we were extremely patient. What I mean is Brent took point most of the time, and when we were looking for bad guys, he was extremely patient. He did a very good job at this, and this is something that I really learned is that combination of aggressive and patient. And just watching him walk extremely slowly from A to B and taking a substantial amount of time to look around and observe and really see it through, right? We walked very slowly. We did a lot of looking. For example, we were trying to sneak up on a generally suspected enemy position, right? We set an ambush, and eventually we ended up hitting the enemy and running away, and we got back to our spot, and it took us like 3 or 4 minutes to kind of run back to where we were, right? Maybe 5. Let's just say 5. It took us 5 minutes. To get there, it took us over an hour, right? So over an hour in, to be nice and slow, 5 minutes back. That gives you an idea of the pacing of how slow we were going. Brent also did a good job, because he was in that patient, slow patrolling, of seeing the bad guy first. People don't realize how hard that is. If you've never gone out and done this, you don't understand how difficult that is. If you are in a static position, you're not moving, and you are, guarding something or looking around for other people, the chances of you detecting them first when you're static and they're moving are through the roof. They're gonna break a branch, they're gonna make some noise, you're gonna hear them, you'll probably see some things moving that aren't natural, right? Like, that's a substantial advantage. So to be able to patiently, slowly move to a suspected, not a known, a suspected enemy position, and then see them first is very impressive. That's very difficult to do. Again, if you haven't done this, you don't know how difficult that is, but let me assure you, it's extremely difficult. And it requires an immense amount of patience, personal, tactical patience. And that was something I learned from Brent. And it's not like, Brent should teach a class on this. He wasn't, though. He was just out doing it. And I was just sitting there watching him, right? I was like 3rd or 4th in line. I was just watching him work, watching our patrol. And I was thinking, this is really good. I need to take notes here, right? So I think you should take that to bank. Aggressive patient patrolling. That's a phrase I'm going to use for the rest of my life. We want to aggressively, patiently patrol. And that's something I'm going to work on with my boys more. It's something you should work on with your boys more, right? In the tempo, we want to be aggressive. In the actual objectives and goals, we want to be aggressive. We want to be pursuing and destroying the bad guys. In the actual one foot in front of another movement, we want to be super patient, painfully slow. If you're like me, right, you just want to go kick that door and you want to find them, it hurts to go that slow. It hurts me in my soul. Like that just, I feel it, right? I feel it. So you need to think about how you're going to combine those. They're not opposing forces, really. I would think of them more as complementary. Aggressive in tempo, pursuit, goals, patient in execution, right? That's how I want to think about it. So that combination of aggressive, patient patrolling really helped us be very successful in that FTX. Like I said, we met the enemy frequently, which is always, I mean, it's fun during an FTX, right? That's what you're there to do. But it was also successful in our engagements. Like, we were able to frequently find them. We were able to engage them on our terms. At our point, we retained the initiative of the fight because of our aggressive patient patrolling, right? We were always finding them on our terms. We were always out to get them. They were not out to get us. And that really allowed us a lot of success during that FTX. So that is definitely one of the things that I took home and that I learned from Brent. Thank you, Brent. Much appreciated, my man, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Do brave deeds and endure.